Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway for the Back the Blue 200 here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series with the Next Gen Cup Series car. Brought to you by Budget Sim Boxes. If you're a sim racer on a budget looking for a button box, then Budget Sim Boxes is your source. With several different sizes and functionality options, Budget Sim Boxes will have the button box that fits your price range without breaking the bank. Budget Sim Boxes is your source of high-quality button boxes at an affordable price. Find them at Facebook by searching Budget Sim Boxes, or look for them in the Facebook iRacing Flea Market, and you can check yourself out a Budget Sim Box. Also, some other sponsors we want to give a special shout out to here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and that would be Marconi Setup Shop. The Marconi Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop of the Richmond Raceway Esports team, building the number 46 and 90 in the Coca-Cola iRacing series, a series of Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak. They've got everything from cup cars to dirt late models, modifieds, and wing sprints available for setups, where you can head on to their website, www.marconisetupshop.com today, where you can get professional lessons with the champion, Zach Novak, there from the iRacing Coca-Cola Series Championship for $25 an hour, and many other drivers available there also for coaching. So make sure you head on over to the MarconiSetupShop.com today, where you can use our promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any purchase there at the Marconi Setup Shop. And last but not least, let's give a special shout out to ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. So head on over to ButtKicker.com where you can use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there. And you can also give yourself a ButtKicker to feel what you've been missing. But thank you to all the sponsors who help make it happen here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. Joined alongside me tonight will be David Medina, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. up in the production box, giving you all the sights and sounds here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Welcome back to the booth, David, here on a Sunday night. We're now into the next gen car. We transitioned from the previous generation Cup Series car now to the next generation here in Chicagoland under qualifying. This is going to be one well of a race.
Yeah, Zach, glad to be back up here with you in the booth and here at Chicago Speedway. And, looking at the Back the Blue 200, it's going to be an interesting race while these drivers switch over to the next gen car. So, it's going to be fun to see how these guys make that transition over.
That it will be. We'll see what the transition is like. That's one of the cool things with this season. We're going to have back and forth between those cars. Right now, it seems like majority of the season going to be with the next gen car due to the super speedways being the times where we use the previous generation cup car and the auto club speedway. So any track over 2 miles, we will have that previous generation cup series car to kind of bring the past with the future. But right now, qualifying times are being set down. Mark Whitley, our previous series champion, 2-time defending series champion, up there at the top of the board, proving again, bringing that speed.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look. Dave Bush won the race last week, so coming into this, probably pretty good high confidence level. So can he make it back to back here at Chicagoland? But just kind of watching practice. Hunter Haywood was leading the board there on practice laps. But right now, Mark Whitley leading the top of the charts with a 30.92. But even the top 5, top 7 are really close to each other. So these next gen cars. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys work together. These cars usually run pretty close packs. So here at Chicagoland, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that it will be. You kind of alluded to the closeness of the pack, and you can kind of see that just from the lap times. I mean, 30.92 is our pole lap. The fastest time turning that practice session, 30.25. So a huge difference there between the lap times in practice to qualifying, and that's going to be down to the draft and being in those packs like you alluded to, David. I mean, like, this is going to be very, very interesting to see how long it takes them to get separated, or if they even ever get separated, because we've seen multiple times last season with the next gen series car that they just never got separated. The whole run they were together fighting the whole time. We'll have to see if that's how it plays out. I don't know if you have any experience in these cars, David, but man, these things definitely tend to stay together.
Yeah, I have run a few races with these cars here, and like you just said, they really do suck up really well together, and they have a tendency to just stay there, But it's going to be really interesting how that goes. And another thing is going to be is pit strategy, because tire wear on these next gen cars really isn't all that much of a fall off on these cars and stuff. So can see how the strategy works out and what these guys decide to do when they get in pit road. But I think we're heading for a heck of a show tonight.
Heck of a show indeed as qualifying comes to an end. Mark Whitley going to be on the pole position there as it all comes to an end. We'll bring our starting grid here up here in a few moments to let you know your favorite drivers are starting tonight. But thank you all for tuning in here to the Back of the Blue 200 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. It has been a fun season so far, with last week Dave Bush breaking into the winner column. And here is our official starting results here as Mark Whitley going to start from that pole position. Second is going to be Todd Neese. Third is going to go to Steven Stippy. And fourth is going to be Dave Bush. Fifth going to go to Hunter Hayward in the 48 machine. Sixth going to be Derek Love. Seventh, Mike Chamberlain. Eighth going to go to Guillermo Albert Tango. Ninth going to go to Nicholas Lobey. 10th going to be Brad Delft. 11th going to go to Keith Hurlbut. 12th going to be James Bryan. 13th going to go to Robbie Darnell. 14th is Dakota Bryant. 15th, Lane Doyle. 16th, Randy Peer. 17th, Chuck Sweeting. 18th, Michael Yard. 19th, Brandon Hartwell. 20th is Dylan Zelms. 21st, Paul Cohens. 22nd, Jason Adams. 23rd, Mike Koshik. And rounding out your field for the 24th position is Robert Cheswick, as we got them all lined up, get ready to pull off a grid. What a great starting grid we got here, David.
Yeah, and just talking about these next gen cars, I think this race could come down to, again, who makes the least amount of mistakes. And as drivers, we're accustomed to things being all the same. And in this car, the shifters are different. So it'll be real easy for somebody to kind of miss a shift here, whether they're coming down the pit road or whatever it might be, when you're used to the H pattern shifter. So looking forward to getting this thing started and see how it all shakes out. And 133 laps. It's going to be interesting to watch this, guys.
That it will be, and some new names out there, and a name actually pretty familiar to me there on that list. I kind of wrote about a flashback to me was Chuck Sweeting in the 75 out here. So gonna have to watch out for that driver. I'll tell you what, he's a very, very talented driver and very good at that too. So we'll see if he can get through this field and get used to this series here. Because what a great series we got is they're getting ready to roll off here. Thank you everybody for tuning in as always. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up button, share it to your friends and family out there, hit the subscription button and that bell notification button so you can always be notified when we go live here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And you can see all this beautiful 1440p action here live each and every night. Well, thank you again to everybody tuning in as they start to roll off. We're going to have, I mean, such an energy-packed start. I cannot wait for how these drivers take off in the one.
Yeah, I really expect this to, the start to be as close, and these cars here just different, and they handle different in the draft, and as laps kick off, it's real easy to the tires get a little bit of wear on them, and then get that heat in them. Close racing, car could easily get loose, especially on the inside. So yeah, this is going to be fun, and just looking at these guys' paint schemes. Some of these guys have got some really nice paint schemes, so it's gonna be fun to watch these guys go around. And just looking at point standings, it's a different points, season this year. So it's no longer a win and you're in. So every race matters. And about ready to kick it off here at Chicago and see if we get a repeat winner.
That we will see if Dave Bush can break back into that winner column from last week at Daytona. Starting fourth, he's looking in a good spot there with his three teammates of Steven Stippy and Hunter Hayward. The pace car pulls off the back to blue 200 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Green flag is out in the air. We're off and away for Sim Racing Unleashes Next Gen Cup Series here at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Good start, getting ready to come into the turn one here, and already still seeing these guys staying close to each other. And I think that we came from the Daytona Speed Track where we got to see these guys where draft really mattered. This Chicago draft also has the effect here as we see the front three guys in the 81 already making his way towards the outside in the 77.
Great moves being made throughout this field here to 77 of Mark Whitley there. Your leader coming out of four. He's going to lead the first lap. But from there on back to Hunter Hayward in that third position. It's side by side for fourth there with Dave Bush getting by. It looks like Todd Neese in the one, but now Neese under attack there going down in the one as the field stacks up there in turn one. Battle for the lead off of two. Here goes Steven Stimpy. He side drafts the quarter panel of that 77. He takes the lead down the back straight. He clears with the help of his teammate Hunter Hayward.
These guys were already seeing, just the different areas these guys are running, low, mid, high. So, when you're running practice, it's a lot different than when you're running with this many cars on the track. So, some of these guys are probably on nerves, just trying to get a feel for how the car's going to act in this kind of traffic.
Traffic on a Sunday night is what we're talking about. Man, oh man, you can see them fanning out there in 1 and 2, the wonderful Chicagoland Speedway, nice and wide, and giving us all these racing lines to be able to race here. What a fantastic track it is here to kick off the second race of the season. Man, they're doing so many different things I can't even keep up with them.
Yeah, they're going all over the place, which is making for an exciting race. The top three have got settled in and running nose to tail as we come into turn one. But these guys here, I'm telling you, I really do think that some of these guys are just really trying to get a feel for this car, and because it does act a little bit different. But we talked about before about the seams, and this Chicagoland's got some seams in it as well. To how the car is going to react to that, but these guys are going to be racing close side by side for a long time, and the guys that take care of your tires best, they might fall back a little bit in the beginning run, but as the run goes on, we'll probably see them work their way close back to the front.
Yeah, single filing out right here now for the first 7 spots. It looks like Derek Love clears for 8th back there as a few guys still racing side by side trying to figure it all out here in the early laps here at the Chicagoland Speedway. A lot of pushing going on there. The 48 shoving the 81. It's got the 3 teammates there, Smoke. David, you were with us last season here, but this is a very common theme we had at the Mile and a Half is these 3 teammates getting up front in the front and really working well together, and almost that third guy playing the rear gunner position to hold off the rest of the field while the top 2 just pushed each other.
Yeah, what a strategy though. I mean, you think about this, where you lose time is when you're running side by side. These guys got in line, they're just going to be patient. It's a long race, so they're just going to run around in line in formation and try and get some distance between them and the rest of the pack, and then probably get, really get racy more towards the end. But what a great job these guys have done to get the nose and tail early.
We'll have to see what type of fall off we have here tonight. That'll really be the separation between these drivers, because right now it's just going down to who wants to make passes, who wants to ride in line as the top three do that. Back here for the 5th position, Todd Neese under attack from Mike Chamberlain in the 70 machine there as you look back now. Man, Brad Delph also back there in the 14. He's going to go 3 wide with Derek Love and Keith Earl, but what a race we got going on here at Chicagoland.
Hunter Hayward, the car that was the fastest in practice, has already moved up 3 spots and running second. We got Randy Pierre. He's also picked up 4 spots already early in the race.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of moves being made, that's for sure, David. It's you can see it. I mean, down this back straightaway, just side by side. We got the Bob Ross machine there of Lane Doyle. There is 3 wide there, Keith Hurl, but Derek Love and Lane Doyle to the bottom. What a race this is. Dakota Bryant's going to come in. He says, I want to go 3 wide too. He goes onto the apron here. It's going to be 3 wide again for that position.
Yeah, that's the great thing about these next-gen cars is that downforce packages they have. And being able to allow these guys to be able to run side by side like that, and in the draft, I mean, you can watch these cars when they are getting on the straightaways. They're just how they suck up to each other.
It really creates a very interesting phenomenon, that's for sure. As you see Delph trying to put the move on the 13 machine and Nicholas Lolby there. Delph has been one of the big climbers too. He's up from that 10th position there, so he's going to climb up to 6th now. So Brad Delph climbing his way forward. Same there with Lane Doyle. Man, Lane Doyle really climbed up from 15th though. As down the back straightaway here, lap 10 in the books, and they cross the line. 10 laps of great action here has been so much fun to watch as everybody up front still single file. First battle on the track there, Lane Doyle behind Brad Delph there, as him and Mike Chamberlain do battle for that 7th position. It's really starting to single file out now at these moments, but it's, this track, it really suits racing side by side, and one of the beauties of this racetrack here, David.
Yeah, it is. It's a really fun track to race, and then you throw these cars in the mix as well. Then they got such a tremendous closing speed because the size hole that it knocks into the air and allows these cars to really suck up to each other. You see a little bit of contact there. This is exactly what we were just talking about. Because it allows you to suck up so quickly.
Yeah, it really does. And, the closing rates are very, very, very wild. I mean, you get points where guys get side drafted, they lose so much momentum, and then you get that big draft off them. You get these big moments where you get 3 wide, 4 wide racing. It's continuing to be great racing out here on this racetrack. 12 laps in. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen 3 wide, but it's more than I've seen it in 12 laps in a long time here on this sim.
Yeah, exactly. And just looking at lap times here, and Steve Simpian there 31:16, but Hunter Hayward laying down to 31:04. But that's because just of the package of these cars, how well they're able to close up. So these guys are just doing a great job in this car. First time racing it here on this track. So just a good job in keeping the cars clean. And we'll see how everything goes along as the time wears on. We'll start to see a little bit of separation from this first pack to the second pack.
Yeah, this first pack is led by Lane Doyle in the 32, but behind Lane there in 9th, it is a Hornets nest. They've been 3 wide, 4 or 5 multiple times. Dakota Bryant making the move on Lane Doyle there as he starts to drop back. Maybe he charged up, used his tires as he's charged up from 15th to 8th as they battle down the back straightaway. The runs these guys get are just amazing, and you can see up there top up on our board there, that is the weather we got tonight. Clear skies here at the Chicagoland Speedway, 68 degrees ambient, and then we have a 77-degree track temp. Very cool out there, lots of grip, and only a 2-mile-an-hour west wind, so not a lot of effect from wind either. These guys are going to have a lot of grip out there tonight, David.
They are. They're going to have a lot of grip, and that's all as a driver you can ask for. Give me grip. Let me go. But just kind of looking here at Brandon. Brandon's moved up 8 spots. I think he's our biggest mover so far. But moved up 8 spots, doing a great job so far, working this car and working the traffic and working the draft.
He really has, and you can see just how tight the racing is back here from 8th on back. This pack has just been going back and forth. You got a 00 Randy Pierre. He's drove his way up from 16th to 9th. Brandon Hartwell in the picture there too. One of the faster drivers, usually at the 1.5 miles. He's starting to work his way up here into the top 10. We got so many different players right here in the picture. Derek Love's the one that's went backwards the most, though, 6th, and he's just getting side drafted there, trying to hang on to it in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it just, again, trying to get comfortable in this car and get a feel for, how it's going to handle. I think that some of these drivers, some of your movers are probably just the drivers that are more comfortable in this car, and the ones that are falling back are just still trying to get it figured out.
Still, the racing continues on back here from the 12th position on back. Derek Love under attack there in the 87. He's going to get past now. Hartwell goes to the inside. Dakota Bryan in the 58. He's going to make another move from 19th, looking to take 10th here. Hartwell looking to be our biggest mover so far in this race, up 9 positions here if he can get this done.
Yeah, Hartwell, as you saw there, just got a good run and was able to go inside. Wasn't able to quite clear for the pass, and that's the important thing about these cars here is that you got to be able to drive down, make that pass, and be able to get back up in line and drive. Otherwise, the outside car is going to pass right back, as you can see here.
And that's exactly what you allude to there, David. Yeah, I mean, just pretty much similar to a play track. You got left out of drive. You do not get that pass clear to get up to that high line to get back in that draft and faster lane up there. And you are going backwards here, and we're seeing it. It's almost like a conveyor belt. Spit one out, get another one out front. Now it's just continuously changing here from 8th on back.
Yeah, these guys are having a lot of fun right now, and trying to make their moves and get clear. But such close racing here. But with the close racing also comes that hazard where all it takes is for somebody to make a mistake or get loose and have their car step out on them, and then you have a lot of cars picked up on it.
Got to react to the moment's notice here when you're racing like this, and they're also losing a lot of time. That's for sure. They're starting to single file out now. Is Lane Doyle up front? Looks like Derek Love, the only driver down there on that low line. Looks like everybody's trying to stay up high, not get down low and get stuck down there. That's what it seems is now. As you can see up front, that's that 7-car breakaway. They're all just a single file line, and they haven't been racing side by side. That's kind of what's led to them getting away.
Absolutely, I'd say that staying in line, keeping that air clean, breaking that hole, and just being able to work in line there. And like you said earlier, it's just like a play speed track, right? I mean, you're so reliant on the draft, and this is the same carryover here. These cars are really good at on the handling. They got so much downforce, but if you race side by side, you will lose a lot of ground on the lead in front of you. So I think the smarter things the second group can do is just try to get it sorted out and get in line and try and work their way back up front to the first pack.
And I think they definitely should use that advice, David, but I don't know if they're going to use it right now. Everybody still trying to go forward, trying to be the guy that leads the line, and that is equating to this race over here. See it is Lane Doyle's been able to keep it out front, but from Dakota Bryan on back, you got the 9 trying to take position there. Michael Yarrow, one of our quicker drivers usually. I mean, he's trying to get up there. The 5 of Dylan Zelms, the 87 of Derek Love. I mean, a lot of these guys. There's Chuck Sweeting in the 75. I mean, a lot of great drivers here. Guillermo's back there also. So just a really tough racing here going on back here.
Yeah, and if you look at the lap times, I mean, these guys' lap times are all pretty similar. There's not, any real lap time gap between the first pack and the second pack. But these guys here in the back, like it's easier for me to say it up in the booth, but it's harder to pull that off as the driver, which is tell them to get in line and catch up the front pack. Like you said, everybody's trying to jockey for position and like you said, be that leader of that pack.
24 laps here, 23 in the books. Steven Stempien, he was a man on a mission last season. I mean, he didn't get to race every race. He felt like if he could have, he would have been our champion. And I tell you what, I almost have that feeling just by the way his season played out. Like every race he was there, he was up front, almost dominating. And he was really the only person that took that grasp away from Mark Whitley. And man, he's coming this season saying, this is my season to win. And he feels like he can get it done. The 81 continuing to lead here.
Yeah, he's definitely backing up the statement that he made at the end of the season. So it's great to be seeing him carry on that momentum that he got from the end of the season into this season. And so he's looking to be somebody to reckon with, and running up front here. So doing a great job and taking care of his equipment so far.
Must be problems on the 32 of Lane Doyle. He's very slow on the apron in 3 and 4, and he's dropping back from the 10th position there. Not sure exactly what's going on with Lane Doyle. Maybe some type of issue there with that car. He's going to have to bring it down pit road and get service done, unfortunately, for the Bob Ross machine.
Yeah, definitely an early pit stop here. So hopefully, whatever that issue is, he'll be able to get it rectified and get back on the track and hope for a caution to get back on the lead lap.
So come the pit road. It looks like he'll take it behind the wall, actually. So let's see what he decides to do there. But back to the battle. You can see there's a 75. Chuck Sweeten, he's battling with the 5 machine, or the 9 machine, sorry, of Michael Yarrow there, as they're trying to make up these positions back here from, really, this is the 13th position on back. So guys trying the inside, but it seems like every time you go to the inside, David, you just get shuffled to the back.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the low line's good to run early on fresh tires. But you know, when you got the majority of the cars running to the top side, you know, that's really where you want to be. You want to try to make that top lane work for you.
Top lane needs to work for you, but if you're Randy Perry, you can't get into it. That was the 0-0 there, down in 3-4, grabbing the wall a little bit there on the entry. Looks like the car's all right, but definitely can't do that too many times. And I'm starting to see a few guys, David, here really coming off the 2 sideways on the bottom, especially. I've seen Yarrow and the 44 there of Robbie Darnell, both get dead sideways there on the bottom. And maybe these cars, a little bit of handling coming into fruition here now as we get 30 laps into the books.
Yeah, I've seen that with these next gen cars. That you get some you know, heat on the tires and stuff. That they would like to, you know, step out on you, and I think that's what these guys are probably starting to see now, is just some heat in them tires. Then, you know, the car is starting to get loose on them, so they'll have to make some adjustments, you know, on the track side and keep that car underneath them. But you know, yeah, I think we'll see more and more of this as these laps continue to kick off. But that makes, you know, running the inside lane a little bit more difficult.
That it really does, and what to see exactly near the fall off for these guys. I mean, Steven Stippian out front running a 30.57 there to start this race off, and right now a 31.39 for him. So almost we're getting to a second of almost fall off here for these guys, and that's pretty good actually for the next gen car. You know, normally we're seeing a lot less, in my opinion, with this car last season. So this track here in the next gen car playing a little bit more of a factor, I think, when it comes to tires this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think just that downforce, additional downforce, just give them a little bit more wear on their cars and stuff. But I think we're probably, what would you say, about another, you know, 15 laps away from seeing pit stop.
Yeah, I would think that's exactly where we're going to be at, David. I mean, probably 45 right there, like you're saying. I mean, you know, you want to split this race up into a good, you know, equal distance, but, you know, you're definitely not going to be 2 stopping this race. Or sorry, 3 stop, or 1 stop in this race. You're not going to go, you know, completely down the middle. There's just no way you're going to be able to do that for sure. So most likely going to be a 2 stop here tonight. So I'm thinking around that 45 lap mark is most likely when you're going to see pit stops.
Yeah, and we're watching our leader here, 31.33 his last lap time, and looking at Derek Love running in 10th. He was exactly a 31.33. So these guys running really similar lap times from the beginning to the mid pack there. You know, so it's kind of, obviously you're not going to be able to make a lot of ground that way. You know, but coming into pit road again, this car is a little bit different than what the current gen cars are. You know, so coming in the pit road, it's not a difficult pit road to get into, but again, these cars are handled a little bit different. So we talked about at the beginning of the race, you know, the person that makes the least amount of mistakes is gonna be important for them. So coming to pit road, we'll see who can get in and get out cleanly.
Pit road's going to be a huge deal for sure. I mean, we see it at super speedways. That's a lot of times the deal breaker, and I think that's what's going to carry over here. As again, those 3 teammates stay out front. They just proven when they get out front, it's hard to deal with them, especially when they got everybody running up top like they do. When everybody runs that top line, you go to that inside line, kind of what we've seen from the 8th position on back. You just drop backwards. I mean, it's happening right now, actually, in 8th right now with Dylan Zelms in the 5. Is he's racing with Chuck Sweeting for a top 10 position now, 34 laps into this thing. So, again, that bottom lane just proving to be somewhere you don't want to be. You get stuck down there.
Yeah, exactly. And just kind of watching Hunter Haber there, in the 48, able to suck up to Steve Sempion coming into the corner there, and then backs off a little bit, just as they go into the corner. But look at the closing rate of that car. Just really impressive, just how these cars handle and how they're able to knock such a hole into that air, and the cars behind it just able to suck right up. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really is how good these things draft. You get such big runs that a lot of times you got so many runs you really can't use them all just because of how big a run you get. There's Hayward, they're going to go a little high in the corner, get a little clean air on the nose. Now down the back straight, we get the big draft, and I think that's personally the smart maneuver to do. Pull out of that dirty air, get a little bit higher of a line, you'll get the draft, so you should get right back there. You got your teammate with you. Get some clean air on that nose, help the tires.
Yeah, that's absolutely a great point. These cars are really good in drafting and stuff like that, but you want to be able to get as much air on that nose, get that car to be able to rotate. Otherwise it's really going to hurt your exit speed. So as you can see, these guys here doing that, just running a little bit different line.
Hopping on board with last season's series champion and the season before that, Mark Whitley. The 77 has been tough to beat here on Sunday nights. But we'll see if anybody can break that two-time championship hold he has here in the last two seasons. He's really been able to take a strong hold of that. It'll be interesting to see who has, who does that, because it's tough to go back, back to back to back. That is just such a tough thing to do, and especially in such a competitive car like this, it is very hard to distinguish yourself when you're in a car like this, where everybody has such a good shot with it coming down to the draft like this.
Yeah, I mean, winning a championship is difficult enough, and then to win two, back to back like that is just really impressive. And now he's trying to put himself in for the third one, and then doing it when you're going to be going from the current gen to the next gen car just makes it even that much more challenging. But if there's anybody that's up for that, it's Mark, and he's staying up front already. And just kind of talking, you're looking at the movers. We now have Dylan, number 5, who's moved up 10 spots. So great job early on in the run, just working his way up to the front.
Very good point there, David. Yeah, 20th to 10th for Dylan Zelms there in the 5 machine. He was up to 8th at one point. Now, man, these guys back here in these positions from 8th on back with Dakota Bryant, none of these guys are satisfied. They've all been trying to get to the front of the line, and it's really been, I feel like, slowing a good bit of them up there. As Love is now dropping back. He tried to get by Dakota Bryant. Now here comes Zelms in the 5. He's up to 9th with Chuck Sweeten there to 10th. These are, I feel like once they get single filed out, they run very similar lap times to our leaders, almost dead even. It's just once they start racing again, they start to lose that time.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. When you're racing and just to try and tell guys, they stay in line, let's go catch the leaders. It's easier to say than it is to do. These guys are just constantly going back and forth, and just looking at Dakota's back of his car, it says "Race with Love," and these guys are racing with aggressive
Love for sure there, David. It's been a fun one to watch these guys do battle. Like you said, it's so easier said than done to tell a race car driver, hey, go out there, just ride single file. And that, you got to applaud the guys right here in the top 7 for really just committing to it more than anything. They just said, well, we could go out here and race each other really hard, but if we all race each other very clean here at the beginning, we can race each other real hard at the end and not have to worry about giving up too many spots. So definitely a smart move for the drivers up front, but the drivers out back there that kind of held themselves up by racing, you cannot blame them, because it's looked very fun at the same time for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the front group that you were talking about there, they've now been able to put out a 5-second lead over the second group to just create discipline on their part, just to stay nose to tail the first 43 laps so far. And like you said, I think that's kind of what they, as a team, that's what they talked about. Is let's stay in line. No need to be aggressive right now. Let's just you put that separation between us, and then we'll let it shake out at the end there and see who pulls it out. But in the meantime, these guys are now 6 seconds ahead. So doing a great job up front, man. And it's really impressive to show the type of discipline they showed so far.
43 laps in the books here at the Chicagoland Speedway for the Back the Blue 200. Thank you all again for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe and bell notification button. Also share it out to your friends. Make a clip of something you like. You never know. Maybe something funny you think other people will enjoy. Clip it, send it out to the social media, and they'll definitely enjoy seeing those out there. So thank you all again for tuning in. Make sure also we out there in our chat, check out our merch store. If you want to get some Freaky Fast merch, there's a link out there that you can follow and get yourself some cool merch. Maybe just a coffee mug. I mean, hey, I've heard of plenty of people having their Freaky Fast coffee mugs and they love them.
Yeah, let us know who your favorite driver is too. Give them a shout out, and let us know who you're following, and we'll try and give you some updates on them.
That we will, David. We'll try to stay up to date with all your favorite drivers out there. As right now, Todd Neese, you can see himself there, the one machine. He's always lurking there in the top 5. Todd Neese is just one of those wily old veterans, man. He just knows how to get it done. He's there when it counts the most. And right now, he's put himself in a very good position to hold on to this. But Brad Delph there hanging on in 6th. It looks like we may have had a few guys decide to hit pit road, because I see a few guys dropping down the leaderboard. And one of those, I would believe, is Nicholas Lobey in the 13.
Yeah, these guys, lap 40, give them the lap 47 here, and going a little bit farther than what we thought they would probably run before they had to make their first pit stop. But again, looking at their last lap time, 31:44, and all the way down to the 9th spot is about the same. I mean, we're talking about thousands, hundreds of each other, and then even in the second group there, it's running about 31:65. So still being able to pull away from the second group. But yeah, I was expecting to see him come down pit road already, but I guess I was a little bit off on as far as how many laps they could go on a food tank.
Yeah, I think they could, they could probably go somewhere around 55 to 54. I'd imagine so, or right around that 50 mark here that I think we're gonna be hitting here soon. But that 45 lap marker, I do like that pointing that point to pit. But oh man, there Dakota Bright racing hard with Chuck Sweeting. Here's Michael Yard and we're gonna hop on board with. But yeah, it's such an interesting time for when these pit stops are gonna be timed out. I think a lot of these guys are thinking, stay out here long, kind of run it like a super speedway, maybe take less fuel at the end of the race, maybe not even take tires. The thing about this is, there's contact between Whitley up front and Dave Bush. That's going to separate our front pack, really shake things up, man. As Whitley went to the outside of Dave Bush, they make contact down into 1 as the 53 slides up into him. And man, great save by Mark Whitley, but that could have been catastrophic there. I think they'll be able to hold on to the draft of these guys up ahead.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to regather here, just fall back in line and get back up to the leaders and stuff. But yeah, what a close one that was.
Now, also, the leaders got a huge factor here too. Derek Love just come out of pit road. He's right here with them. And I tell you what, this is an interesting thing. I've talked to a few drivers about this situation here with drivers on new tires and coming out of pit road. And they said if you can get behind a guy with new tires, it'll actually speed you up a couple tenths just by being able to draft off of them. So we'll see if putting Derek Love out front will help these front guys. But I think Love also, though, a lot of damage on that right front. He's very slow on the straights.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be having that damage, as you know, and on that nose part, we just going to affect the handling of that car. Going into the corners, and then there's long speed on the straightaway. So it's going to be you might not be able to stay in front of these guys. You just got to probably dive in behind one of them and right behind them until they go into pit road.
Dave Bush and them caught back up now. Derek Love there on the outside. Todd Neese, Mark Whitley hanging on. Brad Delves, he's dropped a little ways back to Chuck Sweeten at 6.6 seconds there in that 7th position. 52 laps here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series here, the Chicagoland Speedway for the back of the Blue 200. Here's Dave Bush and Mark Whitley there. As Whitley's going to go around Bush, it looks like on the outside. It's really starting to stack up with this lap car of Derek Love up here in the mix.
It is, and we're starting to see the guys up front running a little bit staggered of each other, not really running in line, right now as they're working their way around traffic.
Yeah, this is very interesting to watch here. Is we're looking at the 24 Jason Adams back here. He's continuing to pace right here in the 17th position, about 18 seconds back, but now back up to the front pack here. You see Derek Love there in that lap car, get to the outside of the 48 on the exit. Ooh, that's a dangerous move to do there. Is now Whitley going to come to his inside. Looks like Love, he's got all the grip in the world with those new tires in the corner, but just no speed on the straight. So he really pulls really close to these guys in the corners. Then on the straightaways, drops really far back.
Yeah, what a difficult place to be. You're trying to stay out of the leader's way, but also trying to run your race. Especially on new tires, you want to be able to get everything you can and work your way to the front. So just difficult position to be in.
As Derek Love continues to drop back with that damage, 2 laps down. And that is really hindering him on the straights there. It's now Dave Bush, Todd Neese, Whitley, all looking to get past. You also got Mark Koscheck there, the 33 on new tires, Brad Delph. But they're definitely stretching it here, David. It's 55 laps. I mean, this is longer than I thought they would go.
Yeah, it is. And you mentioned something a little earlier about tires, and that's where the practice is going to come into play. Is how many practice laps did they run? Did they get a long run in to see whether or not they're just going to be right, or whether they can wait till their second pit stop before they get tires, or whether they just go ahead and take tires? Because it's kind of hard to gauge it off the 87 because he's got damage, but so far the tires haven't shown anything, as we have caution.
And look at that. A yellow comes out. Unsure exactly what has transpired. I think Brandon Hartwell in the 25. Yeah, Brandon Hartwell in the 25 involved in this here, bringing out the yellow on lap 56. And really what that looks like some pitting issues there for a few guys. I'll have to go back and see exactly what exactly happened here to Brandon Hartwell's the freaky fast replay here. As you see coming down the pit road, Darnell ahead also in the 44. He's coming to pit road. He slows a major amount there, and Hartwell trying to slow up also to get on pit road, gets hit by the 6 of Robert Cheswick, sending those 2 around, and that's going to be our first caution of this evening here at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, just unfortunate trying to get on the pit road there and got tapped on the right side of the rear end of the car and just turned them around. So unfortunate for the 25 and a few other cars that got caught up in that.
Well, we now know where they're going to pit because I believe pit road's going to be a busy place here. Yep, everybody taking the right-hand turn down the pit road. And, the people that hurt the most, Derek Love, Nicholas Lolby, Koscheck, who all pitted under that green flag pit or sequence there. They all now going to be trapped a lap down. They'll get the wave here, but, going to be on a different set of tires and now have to line up with these guys. It's going to be a tough circumstance here. As Jason Adams here on pit road. Ooh. Also, maybe they would make contact and they did. Luckily was able to get through there to get the pit road. Todd Neese misses there as you see him slide through the box in the 1.
Yeah, you have so many cars on pit road. It's a real easy, one, to miss your pit sign there, and 2, overshoot your pit boxes. We saw Neese do.
We had some big climbers throughout the field there, even on the pit stops. I believe Whitley, he's going to win the race off pit road. Steven Stippion's going to come off 2nd. Dave Bush is going to come off 3rd. And then I believe from there, it's going to be Todd Neese. Actually, Chuck Sweeting there to the top 5, I believe. Hunter Hayward back to 6th. And then I believe Dylan Zelm. So, great exit off pit road for a few of those guys right there.
Yeah, Chuck up to 12 spots. And Dylan up 10 spots, and then we got Michael in the number 9 who's up 10 spots so far in this race. So again, I think we're just seeing a little bit different pit strategy here. So might be something they learned during practice that they feel is going to work out for them. So we'll have to see how it shakes out. But first pit stop done, and re-rack them.
That we are going to re-rack them all back up as everybody should be getting the wave here in the next few moments. Not this lap, but maybe the next. But, man, Whitley's going to need to hold on to this lead from what I've seen, David. It's with those 3 teammates they get out front, it's tough to get by a 3-man army when you're a 1-man trade like that. So we'll see what Whitley does to defend here. But I think when you're most vulnerable is right on the restarts with these cars.
Yeah, absolutely right on that. And you're right, Mark. Mark's going to be sitting up there and probably do a little bit of mirror driving there just to see where those 3 guys, once they line up, they're going to line up, and he's going to do everything he can to try and stay in front of them and keep that lead. But yeah, he's all by himself.
with this caution too, I think we added a few more guys who have a shot at possibly a win or a top 3 or a top 5 tonight too. Is Chuck Sweeten, like you said, he broke his way up into the top 5, but Dylan Zelms they're up to 7th from 20th. Michael Yara 18th to 8th. Dakota Bryant there is up tonight from 14th. That group of 4 guys were all running together and running very quick times when they got all single filed out with Sweeting leading the line. It was looking very, very good. So, see what I think they have the pace to be able to keep up right with that lead pack too. So I think this is going to turn into somewhat of a pretty big front little pack here.
It is, and the first 58, 59 laps, the guys just did a really good job in running in line, and the guys in the second pack running side by side and keeping it clean. But we are now at lap 60, so it'd be curious to see how these guys start off on this restart here to try and gain those positions as we're getting to that halfway mark. So it's not that it's time to go yet, but while you have this opportunity to try and gain some spots with everybody being racked back up and close together, how many of these guys are going to push the envelope just a little bit to try and get a few more positions?
That we'll have to see what they do here as they get re-racked back up 2 by 2. Steven Stippian restarting up high. Mark Whitley down low, going to take us to the green flag as the rest of the drivers take the wave around. That was, I believe that was actually Lobie took in the wave around. Same with Mark Koschik and Derek Love. So those 3 drivers getting a lap back. Same with Randy Pierce. So going to get them back to 1 lap down and Lobie back to the lead lap. So we'll see how it all plays out here. But Whitley going to lead us to the green. Pace car is about to pull off the racetrack. It'll be in his hands from there at the back to blue 200 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Let's see how our second restart of the night goes. It's been a wild one so far. Don't miss out on this race in action as Barney waits for the green flag. There it is, green flag in the air. Nice even restart. It's going to be a dead even heat now down the 1 with the help of the Todd Neeson. The 1, the 81 starting to pull forward.
And here we go, and going into turn 1 side by side, and everybody running close. You got the first 6 cars running side by side, and going in a little bit of a single file below that.
Side by side, it's a 2x2 trade here as we head down into 3 and 4. Stippian up top, Whitley down low. He's got Dave Bush there in the 53 on the bottom side too. Whitley clears the top side. He drops it all the way to the apron to lead this lap.
Yeah, absolutely. They're using every bit of the track, try to get the much distance as possible from the cars behind them. But coming into turn 1, still going side by side, and the teammates haven't quite lined up yet, but not too far from being able to do so. Look at that line, that run on the outside of the group there. Now the 81 drops down and picks up Dave Bush.
Steven Stippian, what a move from him down to the bottom lane to the inside of Mark Whitley. There's the 3 teammates. They're formulating down low. That's Bush, Hayward there also. As now, side by side for the lead, Whitley trying to do everything he can to hold off the smoking train, but he's like, man, I'm fighting a 3-headed monster here right now. Is Tanisto going to help him in the 1? We'll see if that outside line can get moving with the help of the 1 machine in the 75 up top.
It's almost like a flashback to the restart. We're seeing these guys spreading out all over the place in the turns. Again, just trying to get as much air on that nose and then get back in line coming off the corners there for the straightaways.
And you can see it all fanning out like you said. There was kind of a flashback to the start. I mean, it does look exactly like that. And, that's some of these next-gen cars I've definitely come to be used to after last season. The first 15 to 20 laps is just so wild and so intense. And from there, it usually does calm down a good bit. But these first 20 to 15 laps, man, they are very, very intense. You got to get everything you can. And, what I noticed also, you can't lose track position too much because you can lose that lead draft by battling, and not being a single car train like some of these guys out front who do.
Yeah, as we see Mark there, trying to use a little bit of the side draft to slow some of the cars, down, and slow some of their momentum down, and just got no place to dive in, and so he's having to use that side draft just to keep the cars from just freight training him, and just got no place to drop in.
Yeah, everybody trying to find spots here. Side drafting on the door there. The 77 to that quarter pound. He gets a big run. He actually clears with that move. That slows Delph, though. He's really in the mix there as now. Chuck Sweeting, I think he's actually doing a little bit of linking there on the outside. So we'll have to watch out for that. But man, oh man, through 1 and 2 there. Great racing we're seeing.
We are. Some number 5 and 14. going side by side, and now the 75. And again, it's just impressive to watch the draft out there. We saw the 75 being able to close that gap off as he disappears there for a little bit. But yeah, these guys here up front, you can see them all getting in line now, and the guys behind them still running side by side.
What a race we're watching right on board with Dakota Bryan in the 58 machine. He's seeing everything up ahead of him now as the line of 8 up there formulates. Bryan, he's trying to catch back up with Nice underneath him. But wow, they're going side by side now up ahead of him. This is such crazy action with this car when you start off with this stuff.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what Mark's able to do to try and recover. He dropped 4 spots, and we'll have to see what he does to be able to recover and try to work his way back up front if he's able to do so.
And what a run here, right on board with the 58. I mean, look at this run. He pushes the 75 right by the 14 like it was standing still. It's just crazy to see how big a run you can get on each other here at this racetrack with this car.
Yeah, and that's something, as a driver too, that you have to pay attention to because of that run. You can very easily, if the guy does decide to check up into the corner there, and while you're getting that run, you can easily make contact with that car in front of you. But yeah, these cars, they do have such a fast closing rate on them.
And you talked about, getting into each other, and that's actually something that we had the most, for most of the season to worry about. And look, there's Albert Tango into the wall, and Delph hits the wall hard in the 14 after that chain reaction there. Albert Tango hits the wall, and there goes Delph around, and I think that's going to be our second yellow.
And there it is.
Oh, man, that was a chain reaction of it there. Albert Tango into the wall. And then Delph, I think, getting clipped by somebody else. We're going to have to go back and check out exactly what happened there. But, yeah, I was going to allude to, you don't want to get damage here in these cars. It's something we've seen all last season. One little scrape on the side of the car is almost race ending. Is coming off the corner. I think Dakota Bryant a little bit into the quarter panel there of the 14. And that is just going to bring out a major incident there on the front straightaway as Delph tries to hold on to it and loses it here on the front straightaway. Going to bring out our second yellow of the night.
Yeah, that's just a tough break for him. Bad situation there, and these cars, that does happen coming out the corner. They can get a little bit tight, and you just got a little bit too close to each other. And unfortunately, he was on the bad side of that stick there.
That he was here. As we'll have a caution here for the second time on lap 71. Since we're on our second caution, we'll head to a quick commercial break to say a word to all of our sponsors out there. So thank you very much for all tuning in out there. As we go to a quick break, we'll be right back.
to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
All right, we're back here, everybody. As you can see, we're under green and we're flying around the Chicagoland Speedways. We had all types of different strategies being played out there under that yellow. A few drivers elected to hit pit road. One of those drivers was Mark Whitley. He dropped back to 12th, already up to 5th there, so climbed up very quickly as a few other drivers got stuck back there, though, that pitted. But, man, the real big question I got, David, is that possibly enough fuel for them to make it? You know, we've seen guys go all the way to that lap 56 mark there before, and you know we're almost we'll be right here next time by. Will be 53 to go.
Yeah, you know, that's something we talked about early on, is how was the strategy going to be, you know, played out here in this race with these cars. And we saw Mark Whitley go ahead and go into pit road and get service there. And like you said, he's already worked his way back up to fifth. So it'd be interesting to see if that maybe was the move of the race for him.
Well, I tell you, that could definitely, like you said, there be the move of the race. I mean, if he can make it on fuel, and any of the other drivers who can make it on fuel there, I mean, they might have saved a little bit, but man, I tell you what, I mean, this is the package to save with if there ever was, wouldn't it be, David?
Yeah, it absolutely would be the package to save fuel on, and where he's at now, running in fifth place behind these cars and stuff like that. That you probably won't see him be too aggressive to try and work any farther up. Just ride around where he's at. And see how it plays out. But just want to give out a shout out to Dakota and Brian. He's up 10 positions, running in fourth position right now, so doing a fantastic job. He had a top 5 finish last week, so he's on the roll.
Yeah, Dakota is definitely on the roll. He was in our series last year, and he really had some bright spots and some struggles. So it's good to see him starting this season off to a bang and just really showing good pace already right out the get-go. But man, you can see from this bumper cam just how close quarters the racing gets between these drivers. You get right up to the back of them, right to that diffuser there where all that air is flowing out of that car. They're going to be drafting so good in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the restart. If you saw the restart here on the Freaky Fast broadcast, you saw these guys get a little more aggressive on the restarts, and so I think if we have any more restarts, any more cautions, and we re-rack them, I think the aggression is going to continue to grow and get more aggressive. We're going to see these guys, running 2-3 wide just to try and get that position. So any more cautions, it's really going to get exciting.
You can see how Rayward jumped into the apron there. That was almost a risky maneuver there. You think sometimes cutting that distance is the way to go, but you give the draft from the second place car to that guy behind you in fourth, and that driver, Dakota Bryant, almost got to the quarter pound of that 48 and almost pulled him back. So Hunter Hayward there got to be very careful not to do that. Needs to stay right in the draft, and his teammate Dave Bush there.
Yeah, it's just that I think a lot of that has got to do with habits. In the current gen cars, that's just the way to go, the line you would take. But in these cars, because how they react to draft, you don't want to sit there and create that draft, because it could give that guy behind you an opportunity to suck up to the car, in line in front of you. So just some old habits are hard to break.
Yeah, they definitely are old habits that are hard to break here. Look at this. Bush up the racetrack a little bit, following Stimpy. I thought maybe Hayward there looking to the inside, couldn't get to there, as now they continue to lead these front three. And I mean, it's been this kind of this has kind of been the show all night. I mean, we've had great racing all around the track, but these top three, they've been downright dominant with their teamwork.
They have been, man. And I tell you, look at Hayward. He drops back a little bit here in the third, and then watch him as we come off the third here, and then watch the car suck right back up to the rear bumper.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see how you get out there, and then right as you start to get out that far, the driver behind you pulls you right back in. And even our producer up here, I gotta allude to what he was just saying earlier, just a moment ago, just how good Dave Bush is running in this 53. I mean, like I said, we've seen him do this at Mile and a Half's last season here with these two gentlemen around him right here. They did this last season, but it was usually a simple mistake that took Dave Bush out of the running with this. This season, he's eliminated those mistakes. He showed that eliminating those mistakes work at Daytona. This weekend, could it be back-to-back wins for him? If not, anything, another second-place finish to take home a win, that is a good way to start your season.
Yeah, and just a veteran driver move. He talked about that he worked on his weakness, which was pit road, and he's worked on that quite a bit, he said, and it's showing up. He's eliminated those mistakes, and has kept them running up front, and so he's having another fantastic run, and it'd be great to see him pull off another win here.
Single file all the way back to the 9th position there of Robbie Darnell. Then all the way back there to 10th, it would be Jason Adams there in the 24. He's got a good rebound here as he's running around 18th earlier in the race. Now running in 10th right here in front of Chuck Sweeting. Yeah, Keith Hurlbut also in this 7 machine, a couple car lengths back as you got the 00 Randy Peer, and the 87 of Derek Love in between Chuck Sweeting and Keith Hurlbut. But Chuck Sweeting, one of those drivers that came down pit road also there last time, and I think possibly he could be looking to try to save some fuel here to make it to the end too. Same as the 77 of Whitley there. So we'll see if that plays out for him, because a few guys like he hasn't seemed to be taking very many risks to get by Adams here, so must be trying to save some type of fuel here maybe to get to the end.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are, a banking that doesn't going to go the rest of the way green, which could very well, go all the way green from here on out. And if it does, it could work out for their advantage. Some of these other cars will have to come in pit road that stayed out.
And looking at where they pitted, we went green on 75. So I mean, really that's only 58 laps that they have to do. We did 56 earlier in this race. I think they make it to the end. I think the drivers like Steven Stimpy, Dave Bush, Hunter Hayward, Dakota Bryant, Zelms, Alberto Tango, Yarrow, drivers who haven't pitted yet, I think right now they're saying, oh man, we're in trouble. We're going to need a caution here, because they're not going to make that time up to these drivers here if they have to make a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, they probably said that, as they're watching the mirrors and stuff and seeing people that pitted behind them and realized, oh my, I probably should have followed them.
This is going to be some interesting situation, and this also plays over issues too. If Whitley is the only driver out front here that can make it in this pack, he's going to be all by himself at some point when these other guys come down the pit road. So he's going to have to find some dancing partners very soon there too when he gets left alone. Maybe Jason Adams and Chuck Sweeting will be sitting in a great position there in 10th and 11th to be able to run him down. I mean, Jason Adams, you never know, he could come out here and win his first race, and Chuck Sweeting could win his first race in his first race here ever. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting race.
That's a great point there. When these guys do pit, it's going to create such a void for Mark and those cars behind them will be able to catch up to him. So that's a great observation there, and it'd be fun to see how this all shakes out. But he's in a good spot now, and even if those cars catch him, it depends on how much momentum they have as to whether he'll be able to stay with them.
He's definitely got to be planning for all this right now in his head. I mean, this is an interesting situation. I think the guys who didn't pit just kind of got caught off guard with how many laps it was to go, and they just probably, it just got away from them. Sometimes those quick yellows like that, especially, we had a yellow right there before that, not too long before, a couple 10 laps before that, and, you kind of get off that mindset like, oh yeah, we still got to make that one green flag pit stop. But then you don't look and see how many really laps you had to go, and you notice, oh man, I made it in the window to possibly make it if I saved some. So man, these drivers now are going to be sitting in a very awkward position if this stays green. I think they could at least make it to about 120. That's about as far as these drivers who didn't pit are going to go. It's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, it's sometimes when you're driving and you're playing crew chief over there in the cockpit, trying to decide, what you're going to do, whether you're going to stay out, whether you're going to, go ahead. Like you said, you might have been thinking something else down the line, but there's a lot going on in that cockpit when you're sitting behind the wheel there and you're trying to figure out what to do. But this is coming towards the end. It's going to be really interesting to see. Like you said, around lap 120 is what happened, and if we get a caution before then, all that goes out the window.
Yeah, and going back and looking at it all, so the drivers who did come down, that would be leading them down was Mark Whitley, the 77, the 5 of Dylan Zelm. So he's right there in 6th. He's right in the same boat as Whitley, so that is a dancing partner for him. Guillermo there, Albert Tango also came down. Chuck Sweeting, Dakota Bryant there also is going to be able to be with him right there. Just multiple different drivers coming down there really do there, and it's really going to catch out the likes of drivers that didn't pit there. So top 3 pretty much.
Yeah, and looking at the previous lap, watching these guys' time, the first 3 cars were exactly 31-31. So these guys are just running nose to tail, the same exact time, and just keeping it going and staying in line. These guys, they're only dipping out when they're going into the corners. But outside of that, they're just trying to do everything they can to pull away from that second group. 10th position there, Adams at 3.78 behind our leader.
So looking at it too, they pit on lap 72 there. So that means they're going to have to go a total of yeah, 58 laps there. No, actually, sorry. They're going to go 61 laps. But the thing is, looking at this, drivers like Chuck Sweeting topped off. He came down 74 2 laps later on those caution laps. Chuck Sweeting might be the driver that's sitting in the best position fuel mileage-wise. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but looks like the drivers who put it on 71 going to have to go around 61 laps. We've seen that we could already do 57 at least. You know, that is in the ballpark right there. And if you're Chuck Sweeting, you got to be feeling really good if you're him, knowing you topped off 2 laps later.
Yeah, all these different strategies, and we were talking about the guys, Cyprian and Bush and Hayward and all them at the beginning of the broadcast, and Mark, and we could end up having somebody just sneak one out based on their pit strategy.
And looking at that too there, I'm trying to see if anybody else topped off with Chuck, and it doesn't seem like anybody did. So Chuck Sweeting, he may be the one that does end up making it. We'll have to see, but we know definitely our top 3, they are not going to make it to the end of this race. They are in a tough spot. Michael Yara, he's hitting pit road right now due to him not being able to make it. So a lot of guys in tough spots here. Robbie Darnell, he'll be able to also make it to 44. We don't know if he'll make it. He's going to try to stretch it, from what we're saying here. So it's a really cool thing we got going here. Fuel mileage races, I haven't had one of those happen in a long time.
Yeah, it's great to see something like that come into play. And these guys up front, though, you don't see them. If you were watching their lap time, you wouldn't think that that's even on their mind right now. They're laying as fast a lap as they possibly can, and it just kind of makes you wonder, Steven Cyprian being out front, if he's going to have a few laps less than what the cars behind him have.
Yeah, they pitted on lap 57, as you can see there on the ticker down your bottom right there. You got Hunter Hayward, he pitted 57, so that's where Dave Bush, Stimpy and pitted. Now here goes Dakota Bryant. They're trying to make the pass to the outside up here, but Dakota Bryant, there's 71. Same with Whitley, 71. It's definitely interesting, but I think they're coming to pit road. I think they are coming to pit road.
Yep, they definitely look like they're coming to pit road here. They get onto the apron, making their way to pit stop.
Oh, and they're going to get it swowed up here. They do, definitely, and looks like Darnell came with him. He was the driver that actually, I believe, came down pit road too on 71. So maybe Darnell, he came down on 71 or 72. So if Darnell or 71, if he feels like he can't make it, then maybe that means that these other drivers are not close enough. But maybe Chuck Sweeting is. I mean, there's so many possibilities right now. The only thing is Chuck Sweeting, he lost his dancing partner of Jason Adams, so he has no draft help to save fuel for his sake.
Yeah, he's singing that song, all by himself because, like you said, he's got no help in the front, no help behind him, so he's just kind of in no man's land there. But Mark's just sitting there running around in second place now, and look at Brian up there in the lead. Now he's gained 13 spots, but keep your eye on Dylan there in third. He's gained 17 spots.
We'll see who can save the fuel. Robbie Darnell, he alluded he didn't think he could make it there from 71, so we'll see if these drivers could do it from 71. I mean, that's a far distance to travel here tonight for these one tank of fuel, but these drivers must be confident at this point. They've yet to pit. They're feeling like they still can do it. As Dakota Bryant out front, he may be the one saying, "Oh man, now I'm out front. I don't know if I'm going to make it."
Yeah, exactly. He might be saying that might have been a bad move. Maybe I should have stayed behind the Mark. But again, when you're a driver and you get an opportunity to take a lead, you want to take it. You as a driver just like to lead as many laps as you possibly can. But we'll see how that works out for him. And looking at our sixth place car running about 8 seconds back, but going back to Brian, again, it's fun being out front, but when you're talking about the fuel strategy, you're going to be burning a lot more fuel up there.
Yeah, and that really is something I alluded to at the fifth place man too. At Chuck Sweeting, he's all by himself there, as he's got just the 00 Randy Pierre behind him, who doesn't seem to be going by. The one thing I will say for Chuck Sweeting's sake, he does have Steven Stimpy, Dave Bush, and Hunter Hayward a couple seconds back coming on those new tires. When they get to him, he may be able to latch on there and ride with those guys. That would be a perfect group to latch on for that 75.
Yeah, it would be, and you know, like we mentioned earlier, if we do have a caution, all the strategies go out the window. But right now, we're running green, 108 laps, and the car's starting to get spread out just from different strategies and stuff. You know, coming when we come to the end, it's going to be interesting to see who starts sputtering, if anybody.
Yeah, and looking at this too, the lap time difference right now. I mean, Chuck Sweeting, he's turning 31:57 to our leaders 31:81. So Sweeting is closing that gap. I think he knows he needs to get up here and get some draft on the nose of that car if he wants to make it. So he's pushing this thing right now, trying to get as far up there. But one thing, if he can just look in his mirror, he might be able to latch one of those guys to help pull him up there. Because he's got a 3-car tandem pack of Hayward, Stippitt, and Busch charging through trying to get their laps back.
Yeah, he's gone from Sweeney's gone from being 3 seconds back, and he's got it down to 2.3, and the Ticker's still counting down. So something he's doing back there is working for him.
Definitely clicking on some fast lap times here. 24 to go. Dakota Bryant out front. Mark Whitley second. Dylan Zelms in third. Guillermo Albertango there in fourth. And Chuck Sweeting around your top 5 as pitch strategies come into play. Fuel strategy. Everyone saying, can I make it? I don't know. Can you do it? We'll see if he can. But now it's all going to come down to who can actually get it done, who can get to that checkered flag, and does the caution come out of the spool at all? We'll have to see in the final 23. Right here, Chuck Sweeting, he's going to get passed by the lap cars of Steven Stimpy. Dave Busch and Hunter Hayward are going to unlap themselves to him, but they're also going to help pull him right up to that pack, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that he just needs to go ahead and get behind these guys, which would help him catch that first pack, but he doesn't dive down. So, just thinking about how he's closing up that gap, it makes you wonder if the guys in the front are just getting a little bit later to that throttle just to try and save some of that fuel.
That is very, very possible. And this is going to cause some sort of stack up here as the 81, the 53, the 48 all run up on Guillermo in the 79. And, oh, man, that could have been catastrophic. There's Zelms in the 5 on top. He's like, I'm just an innocent bystander here, guys, trying up here. So definitely interesting as there, as you can see, another lap car going through there. Oh, this is creating a stack up here. Whitley side by side, 3 wide. This is a huge moment right now.
These guys are on a mission, and they're letting it know that, hey, we're coming through.
Yeah, and that is James Bryan there in the 52 machine. As very interesting moments there as Stimpy and Busch and Hayward unlap themselves. Very critical moment for them to unlap themselves, though. So that is good for their sakes. If we do get a caution, I'll give them a chance to possibly run up through the pack, but Dakota Bryant, though, now still leading there, 21 to go. Mark Whitley second. James Bryan in the lap car trying to make his way through. Chuck Sweeting used advantage of all of that there to get himself into his top 5 position all the way caught up to the back of the pack here. He's in a good spot now to possibly save him.
Down to a minute 25, and the ticker counting down. And, yeah, he's caught the draft and got the car in line. And so, we can probably see him continue to close that gap down.
That gap closing down. He's got the 11 machine in front of him, I believe. That's the 70, sorry, of Mike Chamberlain there. As looks like he's going to let possibly these guys go by. As Chuck going to try to pull back up to Zelms there to get the draft in the 75 machine with 19 to go. He's the one that has the most fuel of anybody up here, topping off 2 laps later. And he could be the one when it all comes out in, when they're all sputtering, they're all trying to save fuel in those final laps. He could keep the floor matted and go around the outside. We'll have to see. But this is definitely making me nervous for everybody up here.
Yeah, he's down to a second from the leader, and when he catches him, it's really, like you said, it's really going to be interesting with 18 laps to go. Is how does he, with catching him, going to be one thing, but how's he going to work his way around it and work his way to the front.
Guillermo, major moment for him. As he goes sideways, coming out of 2, he's going to slide back to that 4th spot. Now Zelms coming into the picture up into the top 3. James Bryan again, the lap car there in the mix here in this 52. He's going to pull through the inside of Whitley. He's also got Dakota Bryant out front. Maybe they're a little bit of family ties, so we'll see if that comes into play.
Yeah, Mark got stuck out there a little bit on the outside and getting a little bit of help there from the 5, but going into the corners, you can see that 52 was able to pull up on them. But yeah, again, once again, the draft just making a difference on this race. Oh, there's a 52 gets into the number 5.
And what a save from Dylan Zelms, the 52, straight into the door of the 5. I mean, oh man, that is unfortunate when you're a lap car. That's something you can't be doing, is, causing incidents up in the front pack, and just, short of just a mistake. But man, Zelms, what a save for him. That kind of separates the whole pack up now, as Whitley and Brian are kind of pulled away. But see if Guillermo can get back up there with the help of Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, Chuck now running in the 4th spot there, and he's caught the front pack. So now he's going to go ahead and continue to try and work his way forward. But Bryant still running up front, got that nice looking 58 car leading the way.
Yeah, and really the big thing that I'm looking at is just, Whitley has not attempted to make a pass, and he's had a few runs. That tells me he's still thinking about fuel. He's still trying to save some here. So I'm really thinking these guys are going to be very, very, very close, and they're all still worried about it, because even Chuck Sweeting, he topped off 2 laps later. He has not really tried to push forward at all. He's kind of just riding there, and what I can notice from him, it seems to be very slow on entry and trying to, really save some fuel on entry.
Yeah, Dakota Bryant lap time was a 31.80, and Steve Sippian in that group there, it was a 30.90.
Definitely turning much quicker times. They're 25 seconds back, though. The good news for them is their speed is going to push them up to 7th here, possibly even 6th. So they could get 6th, 7th, and 8th if this stays green. And, at the end of the day, that's not going to be they're what they wanted. But at the end of the day, it was a big rebound having to make an extra pit stop.
At the beginning of the race, we talked about just the air, the whole these cars, knock in the air, and it's kind of like a super speedway, when you're talking about draft and closing. So coming to the end there, Mark running in 2nd place. It'll be interesting to see, if it's done just like a super speedway, where you back up to the car behind you to get that run on that car in front.
It will be interesting to see if they do that there for sure. I mean, I think that's the way to go personally. You got to back up that person, get the big run, and use that push off the nose of somebody to get it done. As again, 12 laps to go. This racing the way it's going, what I've seen is Zelms, he drives right back up to the mix in the 5 after getting that collision. He's not really worried about, he's not really focused too much on fuel, in my opinion. But Chuck Sweeting is still making me think that he's got some nervous on fuel. He topped off 2 laps later, and he's just got there and very much just rid there. It looks to be saving fuel because this 00 is looking to pass him. So I'm really thinking it's closer than what these guys think. And they're, a lot of people will look at their black boxes. We have, tools in iRacing to help us with, managing our cars in our races, since we don't have crew chiefs and spotters all the time there to help us. So we do have the usage of the iRacing black boxes there to use. And one of those boxes has your fuel mileage in it. And look, here goes Whitley. He's going to the outside. Maybe he thinks he has enough because he's been riding there forever. But, you look at that relative, or that number that says, estimated laps. It is not right. That is usually a good bit short. So if anybody goes out there believing that estimate is correct, and, oh, man, I got 10 laps of estimated fuel, I can go completely out, they're going to learn that they don't have enough.
Yeah, we were just talking about whether Mark would drop back towards the end of the race to get that draft to pass Bryant, but he decided to go ahead and take it now. So now the question is, will Bryant think of the same thing? Will he, towards the end of the race, fall back a little bit to get that run? But 9 to go. All of the answers to our questions: do they have enough fuel? Will the second place car drop back to get a run on the leader? Will come to all be answered here in about another 9 laps.
That it will be. Robbie Darnell in the 44. He's a lap car. Zelms side drafts him, gets into him. Major contact. He's going to be on the racetrack. He's going to come straight up the track into Zelms, possibly in the 5. That's really going to check a lot of this up here. As man, oh man, what a crazy incident there. Bryant went up the track to side draft that 44 to the outside, and man, making contact to that quarter panel. That's going to hurt him more than anything.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He was, he's still having a good run, but he was up there in 2nd place. And, had an opportunity to maybe try and make a move on Mark, but unfortunate there to get contact with a lap-down car.
Definitely an unfortunate situation there. Now, 8 to go. Both of the lap cars in the mix, Darnell and James Bryant, they're in the mix. They're both, Bryant's 2 laps down, and Darnell there right on the fringe of being on the lead lap. He is in the lucky dog spot. This is definitely creating some interesting situations with 7 to go here. Whitley out front still, but it's any man's game with these lap cars right here.
It is, and you don't want the lap car to have an impact on the end of the race and stuff. But these cars here, those lap cars are able to run just as fast as the leaders are and utilize that draft. And so you'll see how it all shakes out here with 6 laps to go. And will Mark be able to hold off and get a victory here this season?
We will have to see. They're coming up on some more lap traffic. Nicholas Wolby in the 13. What a great job by him as Whitley trying to break the draft on Guillermo there, Albert Tango. And man, I just wonder if they're going to make it. I really, really do, because Chuck is still back there just grinding. And if I know Chuck very well, he's a very smart driver and he knows when to go. So judging off of him, these guys up front, they're going to have to be worried for sure.
Going to be a fun end of this race to see how all the strategies play out and what these guys do, especially we need that now that he's caught the front pack, like you said, smart driver. See what he does here towards the end of the race.
And man, oh man, the mix of these lap cars is really throwing in a curveball. As Darnell there, 5 to go, right in the mix of this thing. Same with James Bryant, he's up high in that number 52 machine there is 52 machine has 4 to go. Again, it looks like Dakota Bryant, Chuck Sweeten, they're dropping back as again these guys continue to race on. 4 to go. I'm guessing they think they got enough.
Yeah, they definitely are not trying to save any fuel right now. It's you either got enough or you don't, and you're going to make a run for it at this point on out. So the question that I got is, what's about the lap car? Will he get out the way, and allow these two to go out there and race for the win? But at the same point, the second place car, number 79, is going to need that car to be able to catch back up to Mark Whitley.
3 laps to go. Whitley up front. Here goes Dylan Zellums in the battle for second on Guillermo Albertango. We'll see who has the fuel as they come out of 4. It's going to be 2 to go here. The battle for second continues. Oh, Whitley saying, this is nice. I get a clear picture out front. Let's see how it plays out here. 2 to go.
I don't know what happened with Chuck, but he's dropped back now. He's to 5.6. I don't know if he ran out of fuel.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling right now for fuel, and I think that probably due to draft. And yeah, he's slowing down major here. Maybe he thinks he's not going to make it, so he's slowing down this much to make sure he can at least hold on to 5th. Is we're going to be coming out of 4. Who has enough fuel? Freaky Fast, white flag in the air, brought to you by Freaky Fast Broadcast. If you want to have your name or your logo up on there, hit us up on our social media platforms and we can get you all set up. But 1 to go here at the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series at the Chicagoland Speedway for the Back to Blue 200. And we're talking about fuel mileage, and it looks like Whitley going to have enough fuel. He's into 3. Does he get it done? Back-to-back championships these past 2 seasons now. Going back to victory lane. Mark Whitley, your race winner here tonight. Dylan Zellums going to bring home second. Guillermo Albertango in third. What a finish and what a strategy by these drivers.
Yeah, what a strategy, and well executed by Mark, staying behind those cars for as long as he did, staying in the draft to save his fuel. We saw some cars like Bryant, and we saw Chuck there just falling back, and fuel just, Chuck was working his way up trying to get up front, and didn't have any help in front of him for quite some time. It turned out to be the difference.
That it did. Turned out to be the difference. Draft was huge, and they had the fuel to make it. Congrats to Mark Whitley on another win here at Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series. He's on a roll again after those 2 championships, getting back to victory lane after last week at Daytona. He's going to bring it down here and celebrate for us on the front straightaway here at the Chicagoland Speedway. What a night it was for him, the 77, to call the race, hitting pit road, saving the fuel. He got it done when he needed it most. And what a win it was. We'll be back in a few moments, everybody, as we get our top 3 drivers up here to have interviews. All right, we're back here, everybody, with our top three finishers here tonight. The Back to Blue 200 here at the Chicagoland Speedway. First we got up is Guille Albertengo, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring him up here for an interview real quick, and we'll see what he has to say about finishing tonight here at third at Chicagoland Speedway. Guille and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Thank you for the interview. I wore a few words in English or a little. Congratulations, Mark Wheeler, for the win race. And second place, Dylan. I'm happy for the third place. And thank you, you.
Well, thank you very much, Guille. You have a great night, man. Congrats for third, and we'll catch you next time out there on the track, man.
Okay. Thank you, and see you next Sunday.
Awesome stuff. Congrats, man.
Thank
Oh, that was Guille Albertego, everybody. What a great interview there from him. Hey, man, I tell you what, I interviewed him before, and he's definitely. Hey, that was a great job by him. I gotta give him credit. He's definitely picked up the English more. That's awesome to see for the interview there. So congrats to him on third. Another great run. I'm sure we'll talk to him more this season. We'll see if he can bring some more to us there. As now we'll move on to our second place man, Dylan Zelms here in the 5 machine. As he was had a great night here also. 20th to second. What a run for him. Hey, Dylan and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, Dylan, what a great one here tonight for the 5 machine, man. Up from that 20th starting position, the second, our biggest mover all night, man. Describe to us that drive you put on there for us.
Hell, it's basically like a plate track. Just sit back and wait. All about drafting, really.
Yeah, that it was. It was definitely a very much a drafting race. You know, coming down to the end there, how much fuel did you guys have to save? You know, you guys ended up playing that strategy of coming down pit road under that caution, and it seems to work out very well for you guys.
Yeah, I was hell. That last run, I was half throttle, 3/4 of the throttle the whole run, and I had 1.4 laps left, so it was close.
That it definitely was, man. I tell you what, a good run here tonight to get second. We head off to Phoenix next week, back in the next gen car. How you feel about heading off into Phoenix, man?
Got to beat that 77, always.
That's definitely for sure. Mark has definitely been on a tear, man. But I tell you what, a good run here tonight definitely is going to help your cause. Before we let you get out of here, Dylan, and go celebrate the second place finish, man, anybody wants to shout out to?
The whole league. I appreciate it letting me run. I appreciate y'all doing what y'all do. A hell of a time.
That it definitely was, Dylan. Well, man, congrats on second here tonight. We'll catch you next time at Phoenix, buddy. Hopefully again up here in the booth, man. You have a great night, though.
Y'all too.
All right, everybody. That was Dylan Zelms, your second place man in the 5 machine. Great run for him. But now we'll move on to your 2-time defending series champion there, the 77 of Mark Whitley. What a night it's been for him to win in this series again after Daytona last week. He comes out here in the next gen car and puts the strategy on these boys. Let's hear from Whitley ourselves. Hey, Mark and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I got you loud and clear, Zach.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it seems to be the strategy was the key here tonight, man. It's just so tough to, get by those teammates up front. And then, they seem to be sleeping there on the strategy. You got them. How did you catch that strategy, man? And how worried were you that you were going to make it?
Yeah, well, I hate to say this, but this car just sucks when it comes to racing at these type tracks. I mean, it more or less turned into Daytona Talladega, kind of like it was in the Cup race last night. It was just follow the leaders and just, I mean, when you got 3 teammates up there like that, I mean, with as strong as the draft and everything, there's no way you're going to go up there and pass them by yourself. I mean, you get by one of them, the other 2 are just going to gut in front of him, and you're just going to lose spots. So about the only chance I had was to just try to get a strategy call going, and luckily, I was trying to figure out how what halfway was, and I knew we weren't going to make it there on their initial start, and then the first caution came out pretty much right before we were going to pit anyway, so we all pitted, and I was just like, all right, I guess just keep riding, and maybe toward the end of the race we'll get lucky or something. Then that next caution came out about 10 or so, 12 laps later, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, you could probably make it from here. If you pit now, you should have enough gas to get to the end. It's going to be close, but you should be good. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here in 5th. I mean, there ain't nothing to lose. So I came in, went ahead and took tires. So I figured, it'd help a little bit to getting back through the field, and took gas. And then on the restart, got a good start and just got around everybody and pretty much just got right back to where I was. And I just sat there pretty much for the next 20 laps until they decided to pit. And then I think it was Dakota got in front of me, and I just kind of followed him because I'm like, I should be good on gas, so I'm just going to save behind him so I can, just make sure. And then I could tell, I don't know if he was on older tires, if he didn't take tires that time or something, but I could tell I was definitely had the center rotation better than he did, and I was trying not to run over him. And it got to 10 to go, and I had about 13 laps left, and I'm like, you know what, I should be good. So I just said, all right, the heck with it, and I just went around him and was like, all right, just going to try to fend everybody off. And it got a little hairy with some of those lap cars. Not exactly what you normally want to see, but it worked out. I almost had a couple cautions. I was having a little panic attack when I saw them bouncing off each other. I just knew there was going to be a caution coming off a 4, coming to the white flag. I'm just sitting there praying for no caution because I figured by that point I had it, and managed to get all the way back around. No scratches on the car. Finished the race about a lap and a half of gas left, and get to celebrate this one a little bit. That was about the only way I was going to get around those teammates here.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, you definitely played the right strategy tonight, man. Definitely fooled some of them guys up front that weren't paying attention, man. So congrats on that. Definitely used the perfect strategy to pull that off, and the great driving to be able to save the fuel, get there, and get in those positions, man. But getting the win here tonight, good for you after Daytona last week. Now we head off to Phoenix, man. Back in the next gen car, a short track where kind of I feel like these cars kind of shine at. How do you feel going off into there?
Yeah, that's one of the few bright spots of this next gen is at short tracks and at road courses that they normally shine pretty good. But I know last season we ran there, I think we had the wrong setup in there. Everybody was worrying about tire wear, but hopefully we'll get the right setup in them this time, and have a little bit more of an interesting race instead of just people blowing tires. But I think it should be pretty fun. It's always interesting at Phoenix with that open dog leg in the back. You can have sometimes 3, 4, 5 wide, and it's just about trying to get down into turn 3 as clean as possible. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, it won't be as much of a follow the leader fest as it was tonight. Um, that's just kind of the hope, because kind of makes it boring when you go to every track and it's the same everywhere. I've really started to not like this car, at least at mile and a half. It just makes it boring, honestly.
Yeah, man, we'll have to see what it plays out to be next week in Phoenix. Hopefully, get some good racing there, some side by side action, some passing going down there. So we'll see how it plays out next week, man. But before I let you get out here and go celebrate this victory, Mark, anybody want to send a shout out to, buddy?
Yes, first off, I want to start off. I got a big shout out, new sponsor on board, Harpoon Designs. He's been my painter for a couple of years now, and finally decided to just have a sponsorship deal with him. If anybody out there is looking to get a new paint scheme for iRacing, check him out. He does amazing work. Uh, Name's Brantley. He's an amazing dude. Got to give a shout out to my family tuning in every week. My fiance in there on the couch putting up with my crazy mess here on the weekends. And thank y'all for putting on an awesome broadcast. Hopefully, I know y'all made this probably watchable, because in the car it was getting to the point where we were trying to fall asleep. But I know y'all probably put on a good show up there.
Hey, man, we try to do our best, buddy. Congrats on the win, man, and we'll catch you next week, man.
Catch y'all guys later.
All right, guys, that was Mark Whitley, your race winner here tonight for the Back to Blue 200 at the Chicagoland Speedway. What a win it was for him. First one of the season, and doing it from the pole position. So congrats to Mark on that. We'll go ahead and head off into our race results here tonight as, man, it was a very interesting race with some strategies being played out there, as you heard from Whitley. Very tough to get by those teammates, but he was able to do it with strategy, get that race win there. As second's going to be Dylan Zelms, a great run for him, the 6 machine. Guille Albertengo there is going to finish in third. Fourth's going to be Dakota Bryan. Fifth's going to go to Steven Stimpy, and sixth's going to be Dave Bush. Seventh's going to go to Hunter Hayward. Eighth's going to end up being Chuck Sweeten, running out of gas there on the last lap. Ninth's going to be Robbie Darnell. 10th's going to be Nicholas Lobey. 11th's going to be Jason Adams. 12th's going to be Robert Cheswick. 13th, Keith Hurlbut. 14th, James Bryant. 15th, Randy Pierce. 16th, Derek Love. 17th, Mike Chamberlain. 18th, Mark Koscheck. 19th, Michael Yarrow. 20th, Todd Neese. 21st, Brad Delph. 22nd, Brandon Hartwell. And rounding out your field in the 23rd position is Lane Doyle. As that's your race results here tonight from the Back to Blue 200 at Sim Racing's Unleashes Cup Series. David, what a night, man. What a wild race strategy.
Yeah, tough break for them, but I tell you that that we were talking about earlier when we saw that Mark went into the pits earlier and got fuel. Thought that could be the move of the race, and sure enough, his strategy got him that win. So, great job by him on making that call and doing what he needed to do to save fuel and bringing it home a win here in this season already. And Dylan, what a fantastic job by Dylan. Last week he had a sixth place finish. Today he comes home in second place, picked up 18 spots, just phenomenal. And then talking about Guillermo, Guillermo just he had un gato bueno. He had a good car tonight and brought it home third. So great job by him. And looking at Steve Simpian and Dave Bush, just didn't have the fuel, but they were able to work their way back up to fifth. So pretty exciting. I know Mark was talking about the being a little bit boring for him in the car, but for me up here in the booth to watch all the different race strategies play out, I was pretty excited to watch these guys running side by side in this car. A lot of fun to watch.
That it was, David. It was a lot of fun to watch. We'll have to see how it plays out next week at Phoenix, so don't miss out on all that racing action here at Sim Racing Unleashed every Sunday night live at 7:50 Eastern. So if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button, that bell notification button, and that subscribe button so you can be notified each and every time we go live, and you can get more part of our racing action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If if you want to, also you see the support Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You can do that now. You can support the Freaky Fast Broadcasting channel if you want. So definitely, you're more than free to do that. So check that stuff out. We'll have some custom emotes coming in the future too, stuff like that. Some cool things down the line here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. A bright future for sure. But let's close out tonight after a bright race to our producer Robert Moyer Jr.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, David. Great calling. Thank you, everybody out there for tuning in here tonight with Sim Racing Unleashed here at Chicagoland. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed tonight's content. As it was, this is what these next gen cars offer right now. It's follow the leader, unfortunately. So, it is what it is. But congratulations to Mark Whitley. Finally gets a win in season number 11. So he can say that he's got a season and win in what now here? Season 9, season 10, season 11. So just in the season general, he's on a roll, and he's going to try to go back to back in the championship too. So we'll have to see how that all plays out here in the near future here at Sim Racing Unleashed. If you're going back and watching this replay, like Zach said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also share this stream to your favorite social media platform of your choosing. It helps out the league, it helps out us, and it helps out all the drivers overall. So, but our next one will be next week, 7:50, same time, same place here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, just a different virtual track as they will head to Phoenix, and we'll see if they can save the tires and have a little bit of better race there than they did the last time they were there. But our next televised broadcast will be tomorrow night with Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, with NISCC Truck Series at 8:50. So make sure you tune in there. Give a shout out to your favorite driver out there. They're going to pack a big field. So hopefully we'll catch everybody tomorrow night. If not, we want to say to everybody, be safe out there. We'll hopefully catch you in the next stream. But have a great Sunday night. And don't work too hard Monday if you have to work. And give the loved ones a hug and a kiss. And, and just pray that everything is going well. But until then, from Zach Hall, David Medina, and Robert A. Moyer here at Chicagoland and Freaky Fast team, we want to say to everybody out there, God bless, love yous all, and peace out.